Welcome back into Waverley. We've got Lisa Allpress. Welcome home.
Thanks, Bevan.
How was Japan? Like another experience on your resume, Singapore into Japan, and another eye-opener, I imagine?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'd been there before. That was 12, 13 years ago, so it was good to go back. Obviously being a little bit, a little bit older and a little bit more, can obviously, a bit more experience. So it was good, very, very tough, and I'm very pleased to be home.
Okay, difficulties around it, more the language barrier and being away from home. I know Carl and the boys stayed home, so that might have made it just that little bit tougher.
It was tough. They came over for 10 days while I was there, but it sort of, once they left, it was probably even a little bit harder staying there without them. But, it was a good experience, and, they race for really good money, and it's only twice a week. So, but in between times, it's a pretty hard place to live when you don't speak the language and you've got no other English-speaking people around you.
Okay, how does it work out there? Is it like Hong Kong, you're contracted by the jockey club, or do you associate with a particular trainer?
You have to have a sponsored trainer and owner, and my owner put me on the first weekend I was there in a Group 3 race, and so I was actually only the first female jockey in about 15 years that's ridden in a group race in Japan, and the horse had no form at all and ran a really good second, so everyone was really pleased. It was a good start, and so my owner and my trainer were really good, it was good.
Okay, like Hong Kong, horses stable close to sort of the tracks, or more like New Zealand spread out over an area?
No, there's only 2 training centres, and each trainer's allowed 28 horses in work, so a lot of the trainers have their own private pre-training farms, and they rotate the horses backwards and forwards, and it's a lot different system in Japan to what it is here, and whether it's a good system or a bad system, I'm not sure. It works for them, and they make an extremely large amount of money out of it. So their training and the way they do things is very, very different to New Zealand.
Okay, we're going to bring a bit of vision of a day that'll stick in your memory. I think it's Japan Derby weekend, and this one, Classic Medal, you managed to get home.
Yeah, he was favourite the first weekend I was there, and he's a 4-year-old entire, and he's got really bad behaviour issues in the barriers, and he missed away, and we spent the next 2 weeks getting him in the barriers again and getting him sorted, and that day at Tokyo, it was the last race, and I was really, had enough of it by that stage and wanted to ride a winner, and especially in Tokyo in front of 120,000 people. It was an amazing experience, and so I really got up him and gave him a bit of a sort-out run at the start, and he jumped well and got into a good position, and on the poly track, or the dirt, they call them dirt, but it's just sand, and, if you're not sort of up on the speed, it's a very hard track to come from behind, so I wanted to put him in the race.
It's interesting, and I remember always being up in Hong Kong as we see some crowd shots here. I think you come back to scale. Jocks almost become superstars up there. I remember Dougie White used to walk out and they used to roar and cheer for him. Is it similar up in Japan? No,
it's amazing. You spend about half an hour after every race signing autographs, and trying to leave the race courses quite difficult sometimes. So it's good. They treat their horses and their jockeys like superstars, and sometimes I think maybe jockeys in New Zealand are prima donnas, but our boys have got nothing on some of them, but, that's the way they do things. It's their way, and like I said, it works for them.
Okay. Another winner you rode was Nico Taisho. Nice horse?
Yeah, he was lovely. Nico Taisho, he's a 5-year-old, and he was 9th favourite or something, and, walking out on the track, and some of the other jockeys were laughing at us because he's a real solid little thing, and his form was really bad, and so the trainer had said to me to jump him out and put him in the speed, and, it's a 450-metre straight, so I was thinking, God, I'm going to have to rate this, and, they just never got near us, so I was really excited. That's my first grass win in Tokyo, and it's an amazing track.
Okay, you rode a double as well while you were there, so that must have been a highlight while you were there.
Yeah, that was at Fukushima a couple of weeks ago, and same thing, I'd had a pretty bad couple of days leading up to that. They don't ride tight over there, so you tend to start wanting to take gaps as you would in New Zealand, and you just can't do that there, and you get in a lot of trouble for it. So I'd had a couple of bad races, and I luckily came out with this horse, and another one that was definitely not fancied in the market. Was hard, no one saw him as a chance, and he just got there in the last bit.
Okay, they've really come into their own, the Japan racing scene, over the last 10 years. I think they brought the Melbourne Cup horses down, and there's a lot of money invested and they've got a lot of nice stallions and their facility's amazing.
Oh, the facilities are outstanding. I was lucky enough to go up to Shedai and Northern Farms with my boss for a couple of days, and seeing the setups up there, it's just, you know, it's outstanding money that's involved in it. But, you know, the stake money's huge too, and the money that gets put back into racing from the turnover, you know, 75% goes back into the racing. So, of course, they can afford to have all these good races and these good horses.
Okay, you're well travelled now. Your thoughts about where to next? We're going to have a good look at New Zealand over the next 12 months?
Yeah, I just feel like being at home for a while and settling down and just, you know, just being back out there riding. And I really enjoy riding, and, you know, same in Singapore, they only race twice a week, and then going to Japan and it's only twice a week. I just feel like I really want to be out there and get back into it.
Okay. So objectives for the season that's upcoming, we get away on Sunday, and you're down riding through the Grand National Carnival as well, so we're looking to sort of regain that posse up near Maddie Cameron and co.
You know, so long as I can keep riding winners, I'll be happy, and try and get on some nice horses. And, you know, once you start riding nice horses, you know, results happen. So if I could get on some nice horses, I'd be happy, and, you know, yeah.
Great to have you home.
Thanks, good to be back.
Lisa Allpress, yeah, she's back in NZ, and she'll be riding winners, no doubt about it, across